You are now watching Miami Trap Stars.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, all praises, all honor, all glory to YHWH first and foremost. All praises, all honor, all glory to YHWH first and foremost. All right, it's your brother Rab Yawasap with.
Yahawanathan.
All right, we here on another blessed Shabbat. All praises, honor, and glory to the Most High. As you guys see, I got stickers on my face. Shout out to my daughter. Shout out to my wife. Uh, ladening me with stickers. All right, make sure you guys are liking the video, sharing the video, and liking the video. Babu Shawat the water. If you are watching this on the replay, we ask that you like the video and share the video still, and also drop a comment. Let us know what you think, what you took from the lesson, and anything that you would like to add, any feedback. This is a members only chat while we are live to make sure that we stay away from any of the nonsense and any of the distractions, right? All praises, all honor, all glory to the Most High. Um, make sure we are still praying for our people, praying for our land, praying for our land, and praying for our people, praying for physical, mental, spiritual, emotional, agricultural, and financial health with stability, of course, making sure we continue to do so in the name of Hamashiach Yahawashi, who the world ignorantly calls Christ Jesus. Shout out to everybody who joined us on the Discord, man. Shout out to everybody that joined us on the Discord. Shout out to my wife. Shout out to the House of Amariah. Shout out to the brother Shapacha for joining us and everybody else that was there. But those individuals in those households, led us in the prayer and kept us on track with the prayers. By Hashem Yahushua. So definitely want to give a big shout out and a big thank you to those brothers and sisters for helping us, right? All praises, honor and glory to the Most High God for that. If you are not in the Discord, make sure that you get in the Discord. The link is indeed in the chat. Join Trap Stars on Discord. All praise to the Most High. Also, if you are looking to get a free prayer book, a free song book, and a free prayer book, make sure you contact us via email using admin at servyhwh.info. That is admin, ADMIN, at servyhwh.info. Again, you can get free prayer books and song books. You can request religious exemption letters. You can inquire how to join the ministries. You can have any general inquiries if you would like to join the prayer list. Also, you can inquire of RSVPing for the Passover coming up March 31st, South Florida. Keep it with us, Bashimi Awashai. It'll be nice. It'll be family oriented and very peaceful. Bashima Mashaki Awashai. Again, contact us via email using admin at servyhwh.info. Shout out to everybody that is indeed joining us on this beloved Shabbat day. All right, make sure you guys are hitting the like button, sharing the video, hitting that like button when you get in here. God, on these heathens' pagan holiday, the Most High God is making sure to give us rest from all this wickedness, man. All praises, honor, and glory to the Most High. All right. Also, this is a double update. We got the Shabbat class, then we got the coffee hours class, right? So make sure y'all tapped in, make sure y'all ready to go, right? All praises, honor, and glory to the Most High. Um, let me see anything else. I don't think there's anything else, ladies and gentlemen. We're just gonna go ahead. We're gonna get right into it. Of course, though, real quick, if you do have any questions, we encourage you to ask your questions, whether they are on topic or off topic. Even if you are watching this on the replay, drop your question in the comment box or join us on Discord and ask your questions in there. Also, we encourage everybody to be taking notes. So go get your pencils, get your pens, get your highlighters, get your notebooks, and most certainly get your Bibles. All right. Especially during these Torah classes, it's imperative that we are learning these laws, we are learning these statutes, we are learning these commandments, and we are learning these judgments. Doing so by Shemi Hawashai. Excuse me. All right. So make sure you get your note taking material. Make sure if you have a question, you ask your question. All right, whether you're watching this now or whether you're watching this later. All right, this is the Torah portion. So let's go ahead. Shout out to Maga and Israel. Drop them T's in the chat for the Torah portion. Drop them T's in the chat. Drop the member only emojis, the 305, the Levi flag, the rhino, etc., man. And again, shout out to everybody joining us. Please make sure you guys are hitting that like button, sharing the video, and hitting that like button. Also, I want to make sure everybody knows real quick. Drop a 9 in the chat if you are actively and you are effectively listening. Drop 9s in the chat if you are actively and you are effectively listening. All right. Drop a 9 in the chat if you are actively and you are effectively listening. Baba Kashawat the water. At the top of the chat, ladies and gentlemen. At the top of the chat, there is a message. It is telling you to send the letters, right? Make sure that you text YHWH to the phone number 833-442-0848 to receive updates for feast days, Sabbaths, and more. So text YHWH to 833-442-0848 to receive your updates for feast days, Sabbaths, and more. All right. All praise, honor, glory to the Most High. Everybody who's subscribed so far has been telling me they've been getting the messages. So all praises, honor, and glory to the Most High. All right. Make sure that you stay tapped in with us. All right. And subscribe to the text alerts ASAP. Subscribe to the text alerts ASAP. All right. But without any further ado, we are going to get started. All right. Make sure you got your note-taking material with you. Make sure you got your note-taking material with you. We are reading in the book of Numbers, chapter 20. We are reading in the book of Numbers, chapter 20. All right. All praises, honor, and glory to the Most High. All right. 1 yes, 2 no. Is everybody ready to go?
You didn't read the Matthew and Acts.
Oh, snap. We didn't read the... Look at me. I'm speeding along. All right. 1 yes, 2 no. Is everybody ready to go? 1 yes, 2 no. Is everybody ready to go? So before we get into the Torah portion, again, spam them T's in the chat for the Torah portion. Before we get into the Torah portion, we always read these two scriptures, right, to solidify the Sabbath class and to fortify the Sabbath class. We ask the Most High God to be with us on this Sabbath class, and to, of course, we sup with the Holy Spirit by Hashem Yahawashi. So this is the book of Matthew, chapter 23 and verse 34 in the New Living Translation. It says, therefore, I am sending you prophets and wise men and teachers of religious law. So we see Yahawashi tells us in we see that Yahawashi tells us, right, and lets us know, informs us that he will be sending us prophets, so people who would prophesy, people who are wise, and people who would be teaching the law, right? And that's exactly what we are doing here on the Sabbath day. All right, we have a synagogue down in North Miami Beach. We encourage each and every one of you, especially if you're in the South Florida area, come join us on the Sabbath class. Join us on the Monday night class, the Thursday night class, and on the new moons, etc. Come join us at the synagogue down in North Miami Beach, and let's grow together in unity by Hashem Yahawashi. All right, moving forward to the next one. This is the book of Acts, chapter 15, starting at verse 21 in the New Living Translation. For these laws of Moses have been preached in Jewish synagogues in every city on every Sabbath for many generations. So just like they did back then, we're going to do it today. In the synagogues, we are going to be teaching the laws of Moses. All right. Yahawashi told us he would send us teachers of religious law. And we see that the apostles also say that, you know, we were continuously learning the law of Moses in our synagogue. So that's what we're here to teach. And that's what we're here to preach. And that's what we're going to be practicing by Hashem Yahawashi. So again, 1 yes, 2 no. Are you ready to go? 1 yes, 2 no. Are you ready to go? All my members, drop the member only emojis. Anybody who's taking notes, drop a pencil emoji in the chat. Let me see who is taking notes actively and effectively. All right, let me see who's taking notes actively and effectively. Right? I wonder if y'all be able to see that. Oh, you guys can see that. That's cool. All right, well, we're going to take it off. Right. Huh?
No, on that screen?
Yeah.
That's cool.
All praise, honor, and glory to the Most High. I don't know. Do you want to? I don't know if Exodus 17 is the entire Numbers chapter 20. No, it's not. Or maybe it is, right? Let's actually, I can see. Oh, no, it's 1 through 13. Okay, calm. So when we get to first 13, we'll go over to Exodus.
Yeah.
All right. All praises, honor, and glory to Yahawanathan. So we're going to go ahead. We're going to get started. Again, all praises to the Most High. Lord willing, y'all following along. All right. This is the book of Numbers, chapter 20, starting from the top. This is the book of Numbers, chapter 20, starting from the top. We are again reading in the New Living Translation, guys. Right. It says, in the first month of the year, the whole community of Israel arrived in the wilderness of Zin and camped at Kadesh. While they were there, Miriam died and was buried. Right? Verse 2. There was no water for the people to drink at that place, so they rebelled against Moses and Aaron. The people blamed Moses and said, if only we had died in the Lord's presence with our brothers. So now, because they're thirsty, they're saying, oh, we should have died with the other guys. Why? Who are the other guys? Korah.
Yeah.
And the other losers, right, who want to come up against the Most High. They're saying that they would have rather died with them than to be thirsty.
It's the same thing when they were hungry or they wanted meat.
Exactly.
So,
right? This is us, ladies and gentlemen, right? We got to keep that in mind. This is us, right? YHWH called us a generation of vipers, right? Verse 3. The people blamed Moses. If only we had died in the Lord's presence with our brothers. Verse 4. Why have you brought the congregation of the Lord's people into the wilderness to die, along with all our livestock? Why did you make us leave Egypt and bring us here to this terrible place? This land has no grain, no figs, no grapes, no pomegranates, and no water to drink. Verse 6. Moses and Aaron turned away from the people and went to the entrance of the tabernacle, where they fell face down on the ground. Then the glorious presence of the Lord appeared to them. And the Lord said to Moses, you and Aaron must take the staff and assemble the entire community. As the people watch, speak to the rock over there. Pay attention. This is what God commanded. Speak to the rock over there, and it will pour out its water. You will provide enough water from the rock to satisfy the whole community and their livestock. Verse 9. So Moses did as he was told, but did he? Right? Oh, no. I think it's the first one, not the second time. So Moses did as he was told. He took the staff from the place where it was kept before the Lord. Then he and Aaron summoned the people, come and gather at the rock. Listen, you rebels, he shouted. Must we bring you water from this rock? Uh-oh. Must who? My God. Shout out to this guy. Then Moses raised his hand and struck the rock twice with the staff, and water gushed out. So the entire community and their livestock drank their fill. So hold on, wait. I hope you guys were paying attention. 1 yes, 2 no. Did Moses do as he was told? Real quick, I'm going to be right back. I got to get some water.
nope. That's only one no so far.
Did Moses do as he was told, guys? Huh? It says, then Moses raised his hand and struck the rock twice. But wait, let's go back and see what God said to do. Mm-hmm. Did God say anything about hitting anything? We're so violent sometimes.
It's a couple of things he said. Well, he's violent, you know.
Right? The Most High said, you and Aaron must take the staff and assemble the entire community. So
it's not on the screen.
Oh, Salakia. The water. All right. Let's go back to Numbers chapter 20, verse 8. This is where the Most High is speaking to Aaron and Moses. He says, "You and Aaron must take the staff and assemble the entire community." They did that.
You know, it's like a checklist.
Yeah,
It's like,
exactly.
so
Right.
this is where you do it like a checklist, right? Yeah.
As the people watch, speak to the rock over there. You know how when we're at camp,
Yeah.
or excuse me, when Israelites are at camp and we're talking about YHWH and we're talking about 3 strikes and you're out. This is 1 strike right here. It's a major strike.
That's what I was thinking about. Like we should do right now, because we should do like the 3 strikes right here, because letting you know, like, is it verbatim? Like, did he do exactly what he's supposed to do or not? Because he did something, but he didn't do everything.
And that is important to recognize.
Yeah.
So, because a lot of times we do what we're told, but it's not everything we're told. We attempt to find ways to say, well, what if I just try a little bit different? Right? We try to tweak it as if the Most High God's laws are not perfect.
Yeah.
And this is a good example of that. Someone who is high up, someone who is greatly revered, someone who is honored by the Most High, been extolled by the Most High, someone who is the meek of all the earth, right? Major characteristic in self-respect, right? But he still disobeyed God, right? So let's read again from verse 8. You and Aaron must take the staff and assemble the entire community. As the people watch, speak to the rock over there, and it will pour out its water. And, you know, this is kind of just me musing and thinking, what if the reason he had to strike it twice was because the first time the Most High was it was like the Most High, like, man, this nigga just don't listen. Why didn't he just talk to it? I never told this nigga to hit anything.
Yeah.
Right. But to make Moses not look like a fool, the Most High made the water come out. Imagine if he would have kept trying to hit it and the water would have come out until he realized, oh, I'm not doing what God told me to do. Right. And this, again, that was just me musing. Right. But these are the thoughts that we got to have. So it says you will provide enough water for the rock, from the rock, to satisfy the whole community and the livestock. Verse 9. So Moses did as he was told. He took the staff from the place where it was kept before the Lord. So that's number 1. He did that.
Yeah.
Then he and Aaron summoned the people. Bam, he did that to come and gather at the rock. Now this is where he's doing it wrong. This is where he messes up. Listen, you rebels, he shouted. Must we bring you water from this rock? Whoa, 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 whoa. Moses, you're not doing a damn thing.
You know what it sounded like to me when I read this? It's like you're like listen, you peasants. That's what that's what I kept thinking about. Like it don't sound like it just sounded different at that moment.
You know what's funny? And
like he bigged himself too high up. That's what it sounded like too.
Now think about this. Recently, right? Or not recently, right? But brothers tend to, and I hear this from more than one group of people, multiple Israelite leaders have done this, called the sheep stupid and dumb. This is what he's doing right here. It's very similar. Him as a leader is looking down on all the people, although they're doing wrong stuff. Notice that he now also does something wrong.
Yeah.
This is what lets us know that our leaders are not infallible either. I hope everybody's listening. 1 yes, 2 no. Are you listening? 1 yes, 2 no. Are you listening? Drop a 9 and if you're listening actively and effectively.
You know, one of the things when you started off, right, when you said, of course, actively listening, like or like take notes on the because we're doing the Torah, right, on the law, statutes, and commandments. But these are like little lessons, just like how you thought about that little thought. These are like little things we should be thinking about too. Like, hold on, like all of these, they're like lessons in just the little stuff, just by Miriam and Aaron talking behind their brother's back. That was like a lesson to be learned from, right? It's not always just law, statutes, and commandments. It's just little stuff within that too, you know.
Right. Zaquan Shalomon from the Light of Zion, I was at one of their Sabbath classes, and he said we got to learn from the stories that's in the Torah too, like the statutes, right?
Yeah, the stories, yeah, little stories. It's big though,
and they teach us a lot of weight. that's where we learn the characteristics, right?
Yeah, because you know, it's like one thing I'm learning too is like I'm probably stretching my like the big muscles, but what happened to the little muscles that I'm forgetting about? Those little muscles is the one I gotta pay attention to because that's what's hurting my whole back. That's
Right.
what's hurting my whole body. Right. So that little thing that he just did, he didn't practice it, which is why one of the things I always say is like I'm looking at Moses and I'm looking at Yahawashi. Right. I'm looking at both of them because they both are doing something good, but then there's something that Moses also fell off from.
That's right.
So
Yeah, and we take these things because notice it says, "Listen, you rebels," he shouted, "must
yeah,
we bring you water from this rock?"
yeah,
And we've seen leaders attempt to take credit for the work that God does,
yeah,
right? And they tend to look down on the flock. They tend to look down on the sheep. At the end of the day, you know what I'm saying? The Most High God set them up to be the examples, right? So in this case right here, Moses, he got a little puffed up, man. He got a little rattled by the people, right? Judai King or Amarai says, example based on, again, saying words are powerful. Literally, he could have showed words were powerful in Yahweh's way, but he tried to do it his own way. Because Yahweh told him to speak to the rock.
yeah.
That's a
And he
good one.
shouted, Yeah, that's yeah. I was thinking of that too because it's like he said speak to it, but speak to the rock, but he shouted at the people. That was like two different things.
That's interesting. Shout out to brother Amarai. That's a keen eye, brother.
Yeah.
Right? So let's go back. 1 yes, 2 no. Is everybody following along with us? 1 yes, 2 no. Is everybody following along with us? It's already a lit Torah class. Praise the Lord. We got a Levite, Moses, high up, high ranking nigga going off. Crazy. Right? So let's start back again from Numbers chapter 20, verse 9 in the New Living Translation. So Moses did as he was told. He took the staff from the place where it was kept before the Lord. Then he and Aaron summoned the people to come and gather at the rock. Listen, you rebels, he shouted. Must we bring you water from this rock? Verse 11. Then Moses raised his hand and struck the rock twice with the staff, and water gushed out. So the entire community and their livestock drank their fill. Verse 12. But the Lord said to Moses and Aaron, because you did not trust me enough to demonstrate my holiness to the people of Israel, you will not lead them into the land I am giving them. So this right here lets us know that Moses and Aaron went off. They disobeyed God. This is indeed a sin. A lot of people misunderstand sin, right? And I say that because God gave them a direct command. The command that he gave them may not be applicable to us. He didn't tell us to speak to the rock. So obviously, this has nothing to do with any of us. He did indeed tell Moses and Aaron, I want you to do X, Y, Z. And these niggas went and did X, Y, B. You understand? They did their own thing at the end, right? And therefore, the Most High God punished them. And notice what he said. Because you did not trust in me, right? What is another word biblically for trust? What is that, right? Who can tell me? It's a 5-letter word, right? It's a 5-letter word. Who can tell me what a synonymous word would be for the word trust, right? Who can tell us? We're learning here, guys. And again, shout out to everybody joining us. There we go. Dwayne Scott got it. Faith. They lack faith.
God.
Right? That's important.
And here's the funny thing too. It's like I believe if Yahawashi was talking to Moses at that moment, he was like, "You lack faith." Like he would have probably said that at that moment. He was like, "Man, you're lacking faith right now."
And one of the fruits of the spirit is faith.
Faith,
So
yeah.
Moses had meekness. That's another fruit of the spirit, right? He had meekness. But right here in this instance, he lacked faith. And what did it do? It cost him the ability to walk into the chosen land with the people.
Literally
That's
cost
a
him.
big punishment.
Yeah.
Oh, ye of little faith. You know,
Yeah.
Yahawashi asked the question that when he returns, would he find faith on earth?
Yeah.
Man, right? And shout out Dione Israel, chief sister Dione Israel, right? Because of his anger, and he didn't have patience. So now, look at that. You see how his anger replaced patience? Patience is another fruit of the spirit, right? And two opposing forces cannot occupy the same space at the same time. You see how these lessons they tie in, and they're Torah based. Building self-respect is Torah based. It's important. We got to go back to these Bible basics, man.
It's funny because he had to go back into that. Like the same thing he's teaching, he still had to learn that and still apply it for everything. Because it's like the amount of like, I remember what Kim Kardashian, right? It's the same that she said. She said, "I didn't make it this far to make it this far." So it's like for real, like you didn't make it this far just to look at the gate and not even enter it. Like it came all the way over here, and that's exactly what you did. Why? Because of a lack of faith, a lack of patience. So again, I love reading on Moses and Yahawashi because it's like both of them. It's like meekest man in the world still can fall short, right? It's saying just because you're high up there don't mean don't puff your head up. You're there for a reason to show everybody an example. You're not there for you. You're there for everybody else.
You
right?
see that?
I was talking to this elder, right? That I'm working with, right? And he's getting mad at a Levite, he's a kid. And I was like, so I'm like, so what I said, you're gonna like stop what he said. He said he's usually not angry, this and that. I'm like, so let this be your test. I was like, so you're not usually angry, but this kid made you angry for what? That means you internalized something that you shouldn't have.
Right.
So if anything, that's our problem. We're internalizing everything that we shouldn't have. Just because they blamed Moses and Aaron, are they really blaming him or are they blaming the Most High God?
Come on.
Yeah, so it's like that's the point where I'm learning too. It's like, just because people are yelling at me and this and that, it is what it is, cast my burden to the Most High God and keep my faith. If I keep my confidence, I should not want anything else. Psalms 23 says you should not want because the Most High suffice everything, right?
That's
He supplies
right.
everything. So what is there else to want for real?
And when we allow people, when we give people the power to take our joy, to take our patience, to take our faith, right? It's almost as if you're telling God that he's not enough, right? Which is exactly what the Most High is reminding Moses. So real quick, 1 yes, 2 no's. Everybody walking with us so far. 1 yes, 2 no's. Everybody walking with us so far. And shout out to everybody who has joined us. Shout out to everyone who has joined us so far. 1 yes, 2 no. Are you walking with us? Make sure you guys are hitting that like button when you get in here as well. Make sure you guys are hitting that like button when you get in here as well. If you are not a member and would like to become a member so that you can chat live with us on our Sabbath classes and our holy convocations, you can join the membership by hitting the link that I just dropped in the chat. It starts as low as I think like $1 or $2. You know what I'm saying? And you still get everything else that everybody else gets. Right, all praise, honor, and glory to you. How about Shimi Al-Shai? So shout out to everybody joining us. Hit that like button when you get in here. Right, hit the like button when you get in here. All right. Yahawanathan, you still with us, or you just turned your camera off? Okay, he's not with us. All right. We're gonna start back from Numbers chapter 20 and verse 12. Numbers chapter 20 and verse 12. Reading in the New Living Translation, it says, "But the Lord said to Moses and Aaron, because you did not trust me enough," right? Because you did not trust me enough to demonstrate my holiness to the people of Israel, you will not lead them into the land that I am giving them. And this is another big thing. A lot of times people think death is the worst judgment that you can have, right?
I got a verse too.
Everybody thinks that death is the worst judgment that you can have. Imagine walking through the wilderness 40 years and then what you're walking towards and what your goal is, you can't even get it now because you done messed up. At that point, Moses would have probably rather died.
Remember that movie Holds? They were like, what was the purpose of digging? To build character. What was the purpose of you walking? To build character. You were supposed to build character. Instead, you did the opposite,
Exactly.
You learned all of that for what? You just threw everything away.
And notice it only took one time.
Yeah.
It only took, because all these other times Moses been keeping his cool. It took this one time for Moses to mess up, and the Lord said, "You know what, nigga? Now you not getting in the land. How about that?"
Yeah.
Everybody else, you see how everybody else, they just been, Most High just been murking them, right? Pay attention. The Most High just been murking them, right? Wiping them out. But Moses, he said, "Nah, you gonna keep walking, nigga. You gonna stay with him, and you just not gonna enter." Right? What's the scripture you have?
That's a horrible punishment. Ezekiel 24. Let me see.
What did it say?
Let me see. Just go down. I know it's basically, yeah, just keep going.
Any keywords?
Put in an NLT. Yeah, basically it's when his wife died, right? So his wife died, or yeah, in the NLT, yeah, it's gonna say. So yeah, you can start at 15.
So this is the book of Ezekiel chapter. Real quick. Is everybody following along with us? Right quick. We're going to transition to a precept. Everybody pay attention. We are transitioning to a precept in the book of Ezekiel chapter 24. 1 yes, 2 no. Are you walking with us? 1 yes, 2 no. Are you walking with us? We are transitioning to a precept in Ezekiel chapter 24. All right. We are now reading in Ezekiel chapter 24 and verse 15. This is Ezekiel chapter 24 and verse 15. Starting, it says, "Then this message came to me from the Lord. Son of man, with one blow I will take away your dearest treasure." This is in the New Living Translation, by the way. Salakia. This is in the New Living Translation. I'm going to start again from Ezekiel chapter 24 and verse 15, reading in the New Living Translation. "Then this message came to me from the Lord. Son of man, with one blow I will take away your dearest treasure. Yet you must not show any sorrow at her death." Imagine that. "Do not weep. Let there be no tears." God told Ezekiel, when I kill your wife, I don't want to see you cry. This is the command from God to Ezekiel. I don't want to see you cry when I kill your wife. Verse 16. No, verse 17. "Groan silently, but let there be no wailing at her grave." So you better internalize the way you feel, right? I don't want to see you cry. "Groan silently." This is what God said to Ezekiel. "But let there be no wailing at her grave. Do not uncover your head or take off your sandals. Do not perform the usual rituals of mourning or accept any food brought to you by consoling friends." So now whatever would usually be done, Ezekiel can't do it. Verse 18. "So I proclaimed this to the people the next morning, and in the evening my wife died. The next morning I did everything I had been told to do."
That was it. It says the next morning I did everything I was been told to do. So his wife died. So the reason I brought this up is because in the beginning of the chapter, his sister dies, right? So Miriam dies, and of course he's probably mad and sad and mourning, right?
That's interesting.
So he's going through something, and in a way he's probably looking at it as like, man, all these people are bugging me. I'm going through something, and they're not validating my feelings. They're not coming to me, comforting me, and none of that. They're yelling, but at the end of the day, the Most High still told you to do something. You're still supposed to do it. Just as Ezekiel, that's his sister. But now imagine Ezekiel's wife dies, and he can't even express his feelings to anybody, right? So it shows you, just because what you're going through, the Most High knows what you're going through. He's gonna help you out through it, but he wants to see what you're gonna do. Same thing what he did with Abraham. What if that was just a test? What if that was Moses' test? What if that was, we all go through tests, and yet we don't even realize if we passed or failed. That showed that showed Moses that he failed something, that he was supposed to, if the Most High gave you a direct order by yourself, not for everybody else, that was for you and Aaron, and you didn't even pass that test. Right? So,
without getting too far off, right? Excuse me. Chief spoke to this before. Recently, of course, he made mention of the fact, everybody's worried about what I got to do. Well, listen, this is what God gave me to do. Worry about the job God gave you, right? everybody's job is not the same. And I was even thinking about it, musing on it. I want to say it was last night, maybe this morning, right? Concerning a video that somebody did about us, mostly me, right, rebuking us. And I was thinking about the purpose for each of the camps. You know, how certain camps take certain things more serious than others, right? But that was the vision, and that is the job, that is the example that they're supposed to go on to be and to make. So without, again, getting too far off, all praise to the Most High, right? One yes, two knows, everybody following along with us. We're going to go back now to the Torah, Numbers chapter 20. Numbers chapter 20. We're going to continue reading from verse 12 in the New Living Translation. One yes, two no. Is everybody with us? One yes, two no. Is everybody with us? Oh, shout out to the elder joining us. Praise the Lord. Shout out to the elder joining us. Praise the Lord. All right. Dang. That's crazy. Her comment didn't pop up on StreamYard. That's weird. Right. But shout out to Zaquan Jabara joining us. Shalom Shabbat to all called to be saints. What a wonderful day for all Israelites. All praise, honor, and glory to the Most High. Shalom to everybody joining us. Make sure you guys hit the like button, share the video, and hit the like button if you want to become a member so you can chat with us. The link is at the top. It's real, 99 cents or like $1 or something like that. It ain't that serious, man. And all proceeds always go to the ministries, man. All right, help keep them doors open. All right. So we back in the Torah, Numbers chapter 20, starting back from verse 12, still in the New Living Translation. But the Lord said to Moses and Aaron, because you did not trust me enough to demonstrate my holiness to the people of Israel, you will not lead them into the land I am giving them. This place, verse 13, this place was known as the waters of Meribah, which means arguing, because there the people of Israel argue with the Lord, and there he demonstrated his holiness among them. So, real quick, I want to go, before we go to Exodus, we're going to transition real quick. Deuteronomy 33, ladies and gentlemen. One yes, two knows, everybody following along with us. One yes, two knows, everybody following along with us. Right? We're going to go over to Deuteronomy 33. Shout out to Zaquan Dabara, Yahawanathan Ban Lawya, the water for your continuous loving, and loving support by Hashem Yahawashi, right? Again, or excuse me, I forgot to mention this, but just like every other live class, we do look to reach a minimum of 20 super chats. It can be as low as 99 cents. Shout out to Zaquan Dabara. Again, Yahawanathan the water for your generous, continuous, and loving support. All right. But we're going to transition real quick over to Deuteronomy chapter 33 and verse 8. We're going to read this. It says, and of Levi, he said, let thy Thummim and thy Urim be with thy Holy One, whom thou didst prove at Massah, and with whom thou didst strive at the waters of Meribah. So these two things, Massah and Meribah, are locations based on the history of us walking through the wilderness, right? So we now know Meribah, right, was named that because it's arguing, the waters of arguing, right? Massah, I think, was hold on. The desert, yeah, when we were being tried in the wilderness, right, which we're about to read in Exodus 17, right? So just wanted to read that real quick regarding that, so that when you're reading, you understand what it means and where it comes from. It's the history of us walking in the wilderness, right? So now we're going to go over to Exodus chapter 17. One yes, two no's. Everybody following along with us. We're going to transition over to Exodus chapter 17, right? We're going to transition over to Exodus chapter 17, and we're going to read verses 1 through 7, because it is the same thing that just happened in Numbers chapter 20, verses 1 through 13. So one yes, two no. Is everybody following along? All right, one yes, two no. Is everybody following along? Numbers chapter 20, verses 1 through 13 is the same thing you will find in Exodus chapter 17, verses 1 through 7. I'm going to say it one more time. Numbers chapter 20, verses 1 through 13 is the same thing you will find in Exodus chapter 17, verses 1 through 7. All right, which we're going to transition over to briefly. All right, again, shout out to Zaquan Double Ra, YHWH, Walter Water for your generous, continuous, and love and support, keeping that $1 drive alive and getting us closer to that 20 super chat goal. Right? So now we are in Exodus chapter 17, starting at verse 1, and we are reading in the New Living Translation. Again, Exodus chapter 17, starting at verse 1, and we are reading in the New Living Translation. It says, "At the Lord's command, the whole community of Israel left the wilderness of Sin and moved from place to place. Eventually, they camped at Rephidim, but there was no water there for the people to drink." So now Exodus gives us a more accurate, or more detailed story to where exactly they were in the wilderness, right? Verse 2. So once more the people complained against Moses. "Give us water to drink," they demanded. "Quiet," Moses replied. "Why are you complaining against me? And why are you testing the Lord?" This wasn't in Numbers.
Yeah.
So this right here shows Moses was frustrated. Let's read this again. Exodus chapter 17, verse 2. "So once more the people complained against Moses. 'Give us water to drink,' they demanded. 'Quiet,' Moses replied. 'Why are you complaining against me? And why are you testing the Lord?' Verse 3. But tormented by thirst, they continued to argue with Moses." Now it would make sense why it's called Meribah, the waters of arguing, because they're going back and forth. "Why did you bring us out of Egypt? Are you trying to kill us, our children, and our livestock with thirst?" Verse 4. Then Moses cried out to the Lord, "What should I do with this people? They are ready to stone me." The Lord said to Moses, "Walk out in front of the people, take your staff." Now notice, I want everybody to pay attention to this. How Numbers records it differently than Exodus. Numbers records it in the sense of Moses and Aaron went to the tabernacle, bowed their face to the ground, and prayed to the Lord. Whereas here in Exodus, Moses is arguing with the people and asked the Most High, "God, what am I supposed to do?" You see the difference in the record? Pay attention. One is more detailed than the other. This is also how you're supposed to read the Gospels. All right? So I'm going to read it again, Exodus chapter 17. Verse 5. The Lord said to Moses, "Walk out in front of the people, take your staff, the one you used when you struck the water of the Nile, and call some of the elders of Israel to join you." Verse 6. "I will stand before you on the rock at Mount Sinai, strike the rock, and water will come gushing out. Then the people will be able to drink." So Moses struck the rock as he was told, and water gushed out as the elders looked on. This is interesting because one says to speak to the rock and one says to strike the rock.
Yeah.
Verse 7. Moses named the place Massah, which means test, and Meribah, which means arguing. So now we have the full understanding of what Massah means, and Meribah, which we see in Deuteronomy 33. Because the people of Israel argued with Moses and tested the Lord by saying, "Is the Lord here with us or not?" So now, Slut. My God. So now we see in Exodus, the Most High says to strike, but in Numbers 20, he says to speak to it. Which one are we supposed to take? Both are recorded as the word of the Lord, right? We see in Numbers, though, Moses is judged for striking the rock. And we also see that Moses doesn't get to enter the land, right? So in order to weigh the two, right, and understand which one is going to be, I guess you can say, more accurate,
Yeah.
right? Numbers 20 would show toward the history, right, and the accuracy, whereas Exodus 17 is a mere glimpse of what was going on. And we can see because, number one, it's shorter, right, and it simply details the emotion of what was going on. Numbers, the book of Numbers, is more accurate to the time in which we were actually in the wilderness, right? So 1 yes, 2 no. Is everybody walking with us? Does everybody understand? It's everybody receiving this in their spirit.
And then not only that, it shows that his sister died in the beginning.
Yes.
So, and then after that, somebody else is gonna die right after that. In Numbers. So they don't. It
In
doesn't.
Numbers 20.
Huh?
In
Yeah.
Numbers 20.
Yeah. So 2 people die.
One yes, 2 knows everybody walking with us. All right. And again, shout out to everybody joining us. Okay. Also, real quick, Tribe of Issachar shared with us this. Numbers chapter 95 and verse 8. Excuse me. Tribe of Issachar shared with us Psalms chapter 95 and verse 8. Harden not your heart as in the provocation and as in the day of temptation in the wilderness. Ooh.
I like that.
So we should not be behaving the same way that we behaved in the wilderness, right? That's basically what that says. Also, real quick, I want to speak to this. Also, Exodus 17 is also the first time, right, that these things occurred. Numbers 20 is later on in the wilderness because, again, like I was saying, Numbers 20 is more detailed to the time in which we were actually walking through the wilderness. Exodus has a different type of timeline, right? So Exodus chapter 17 is the first time, if you notice, the Lord literally says to strike the rock, whereas Numbers 20, he's told to speak to it. If you look at the timeline, Exodus 17 happens way before Numbers, the 20th chapter. I believe there's about a 20 to 30 year difference because they what scholars record Numbers chapter 20 happening toward the ending of the time of us in the wilderness. All right. So 1 yes, 2 knows everybody walking with us. 1 yes, 2 knows everybody walking with us. Got to make sure that everybody's following along and we're learning multiple things here at one time. 1 yes, 2 no. In the meantime, we will also be transitioning back over to Numbers chapter 20 and verse 14. Numbers chapter 20 and verse 14. 1 yes, 2 no. Is everybody following along? So if you are someone who is taking notes, you can write Exodus 17, the early stages of us in the wilderness, and the next to Numbers chapter 20, the latter stages of us in the wilderness. They're two different accounts, but the same thing occurring, if that makes sense. 1 yes, 2 no. Is everybody following along with us? If you feel confused in any way, shape, or form, please say something. If you're not a member and you can't type while we're live, that's fine. You can drop it in the comments below. You can join our Discord, which is in the description. You can contact us. Our phone number is also in the description. There's multiple ways that you can let us know that you may be confused, need us to expound, etc. Right? All praises, all honor, all glory to the Most High. Right? But we are now going to proceed in Numbers chapter 20, reading from verse 14 in the New Living Translation. It says, while Moses was at Kadesh, he sent ambassadors to the king of Edom with this message. This is what your relatives, the people of Israel, say. You know all the hardships we have been through. Our ancestors went down in Egypt, and we lived there a long time, and we and our ancestors were brutally mistreated by the Egyptians. But when we cried out to the Lord, he heard us and sent an angel who brought us out of Egypt. Now we are camped at Kadesh, a town on the border of your land. Please let us travel through your land. We will be careful not to go through your fields and vineyards. We won't even drink water from your wells. We will stay on the king's road and never leave it until we have passed through your territory. So this is the letter that Moses sent to the white folks, our brothers, right?
Send it to Rob.
Right? And he's like, yo, man, we gotta pass through your hood. We ain't gonna touch nothing. We ain't gonna bother nobody. We're gonna stay on the road. We're gonna stay forward, right? Verse 18.
Yeah, clearly he's it's like he knew who he was and how they are already.
Exactly.
So he had to be like wisdom, like he can, wise as a dove and harmless as a
Harmless as a dove, wise as a serpent.
Yeah, that one. What am I
Gone.
saying? Gone.
Continuing at verse 18, still in the New Living Translation. But the king of Edom said, "Stay out of my land, or I will meet you with an army." Guys, come on. Come on. No way, right? Verse 18, but the king of Edom said, "Stay out of my land, or I will meet you with an army." And these are not our enemies. That's interesting. Verse 19, the Israelites answered, "We will stay on the main road. If our livestock drink your water, we will pay for it." Just like some blacks and Hispanics. Look, bro, we don't want no smoke. We'll give you money. Just let us pass through your country. That's all we ask. Verse 20, but the king of Edom replied, "Stay out. You may not pass through our land." With that, he mobilized his army and marched out against them with an imposing force. Verse 21, because Edom refused to allow Israel to pass through their country, Israel was forced to turn around. This isn't some Edomites. This is all of Edom, guys. Just saying. Verse 22.
But I was gonna say, it's also the Most High because he's not letting them get there.
Yeah, facts.
I mean, yeah. So the prerequisite to enter into the kingdom, they should have obeyed, but they just kept arguing, So
you see, continuing in verse 22, the whole community of Israel left Kadesh and arrived at Mount Hor. There on the border of the land of Edom, the Lord said to Moses and Aaron, "The time has come for Aaron to join his ancestors in death. He will not enter the land I am giving the people of Israel because the two of you rebelled against my instructions concerning the water at Meribah. Now take Aaron and his son Eleazar up Mount Hor. There you will remove Aaron's priestly garments and put them on Eleazar his son. Aaron will die there and join his ancestors." So Moses did as the Lord commanded. The three of them went up Mount Hor together as the whole community watched. At the summit, Moses removed the priestly garments from Aaron and put them on Eleazar, Aaron's son. Then Aaron died there on the top of the mountain, and Moses and Eleazar went back down. And when the people realized that Aaron had died, all Israel mourned for him 30 days. Right? So this is the end of Aaron. Aaron dies. Now Eleazar takes over. We read about Eleazar and how he has a zeal for the Lord. And now as we continue on the next Sabbath class, we will learn more about that. Israel mourned Aaron for 30 days. Right? So all praises, all honor, all glory to Yahawanathan. That was the Torah portion for this Sabbath class. That was the Torah portion of the Sabbath class. We learned that it's horrible to argue and to complain against God. We learned that even the highest up, the leaders, can also make mistakes, right? And when they make those mistakes, the Most High God has bigger judgments for them, right? We also learned that, guess what? Leaders, it's important that you maintain your patience, you maintain your faith, and you maintain your dignity, you maintain that self-respect as leaders to be the best example you can be for the sheep. Because very similarly, we see Moses argue for a leader to be arguing with someone that he's leading. He's now putting himself down. He's taking the level of which God gave him and diminishing it, right? So we must uphold the self-respect, right? We must keep the qualities in which got us that high level, right? The meekness, the faith, the patience, the long-suffering, the goodness, the gentleness, the love, right? We must maintain these things in the spirit of Yahawashi. All right. Before we go on, all right. Again, shout out to everybody who has joined us thus far. Shout out to everybody that has joined us thus far. All praises, all honor, all glory to Yahawanathan. 1 yes, 2 no. Are you ready to go? 1 yes, 2 no. Are you ready to go? Are you sure we read? No, we did not read Sirach 19.
Oh, so it's 18 then, right?
No, we read Sirach 18.
Oh no, that's what I was saying. You're behind, like I'm
A
saying.
chapter.
Yeah, I'm saying we're on 20, and I think you had to start on 19.
Okay.
Yeah, so probably misunderstood what I was saying. Yeah, because I think Sirach
Yeah,
is.
I remember this. Don't indulge in luxurious living. I remember this. Okay. All praise to the Most High. So we are going to transition now over to the wisdom portion. We are now going to transition over to the wisdom portion. Drop them dubs in the chat for the wisdom portion. Drop them dubs in the chat for the wisdom portion. Shout out to everybody joining us. Make sure you guys hit the like button, share the video, and hit that like button. If you're watching this on the replay, we still encourage you to stay tapped in, get your notes, get your note-taking material, get your Bibles, make sure you're reading along, all those things. Shout out to everybody joining us. Shout out to everybody joining us, man. If you're not a member, you can get your membership. The link is at the top of the chat. Shout out to Zaquan Double Ra again. Yahawanathan Ban Lawya, Walk the Water for your generous, continuous, and loving support. Drop them dubs in the chat. All my members, drop the member only emojis. All right. Get those likes up. Baba Kasha. Baba Kasha. All right. I'm going to go ahead. Is that good, or you want me to zoom in more?
That's good.
All right.
Actually, no, zoom in a little more. All right, that's better.
All right. Real quick, I didn't do this for the book of Numbers. So let me go back real quick. Let me tell you guys again while we're reading the book of Numbers, the whole purpose or the theme that we should be paying attention to in the book of Numbers is learning our place and the role in which we have for the body of Christ and the building of the nation. The theme in the book of Sirach is to realize this is a young man who took the wisdom and experience he gathered from his grandfather, his father, and even his own, puts it into a book and wants to spread it abroad to the other Israelites who are scattered, right? So this is from that individual's perspective and all his wisdom and experience that he's gathered through his lifetime, and he's now sharing it, and we are reading it and have the ability to build upon it with our own wisdom and experience, and of course sharing it with you. And we are doing so with love and kindness, gentleness, goodness, meekness. All right. So 1 yes, 2 no. Are you ready to go? Drop those pencil emojis in the chat for those of you taking notes. Drop those pencil emojis in the chat for those of you taking notes. All praises, all honor, all glory to the Most High. Remember, we got coffee hours later. We tapped in today. We locked in, right? Go ahead.
All right. Ecclesiasticus chapter 19, verse 1 in the Good News Translation. If you do, you will never get rich.
So real quick. So the way that it's reading, right, is continuing from the previous chapter. So you know what we should do? Let's go to the previous chapter so we can read it in continuity and fluidly, right?
Yeah.
So let's read from Sirach chapter 18 real quick. Make sure everybody's following along. 1 yes, 2 no. We are going to go back a little bit so we can read this fluidly and in continuity. We're going to go back to Sirach chapter 18 toward the end so that we can read straightforward. 1 yes, 2 no. Is everybody following along with us? We're going back to Sirach chapter 18 and verse 30. We are reading in the Good News Translation so that we can go into Sirach chapter 19 properly. All right. Go ahead.
All right. Ecclesiasticus chapter 18, verse 30 in the Good News Translation. Don't be controlled by your lusts. Keep your passions in check.
Mm-hmm.
If you allow yourself to satisfy your every desire, you will be a joke to your enemies. Don't indulge in luxurious living. The expense of it will ruin you. Don't make yourself a beggar by borrowing for expensive banquets when you don't have enough money of your own.
Right. So this is important to understand right here. when managing money, managing expenses, managing life, managing and having self-control, like it's titled, right? So this right here, this way of living will help you obtain, maintain, and cultivate the fruit of the spirit known as self-control. So now we're going to go over to Sirach, the 19th chapter, and continue. Go ahead.
Verse 19, I'm in chapter 19, verse 1. If you do, you will never get rich.
So now, if you do indulge in every desire that you ever have and you lack self-control, that's why it's impossible to get rich. So now I want to pay attention. I want you guys to pay attention to something right quick, because there is a lot of times people think that it's wrong to be rich. That's not what the thing is, right? A lot of people think it's wrong to make a lot of money. It's not wrong. It's about the type of person you are and how you have obtained that money. That is what's going to determine right from wrong. YHWH said, it is more possible for a camel to fit through the eye of a needle than for a rich person to enter heaven. Why? Because typically, someone who is rich, someone who has gathered that much wealth, right, had to have done something evil or is evil, right? And the way that they treat themselves and in the way that they treat each other people. Because we see and we read about in Sirach 14, someone who is stingy. A lot of times people get rich today because they are stingy, not only to other people, but to themselves. They would deprive themselves of a lot of human things or pleasures so that they can accumulate money. They can accumulate money, and the only thing they're focused on is money. That's why Paul tells us the love of money is the root of all evil. They love money so much that they're willing to deprive themselves of natural things and desires that it's okay to have. They're willing to deprive themselves of family. They're willing to deprive themselves of children. A lot of rich people, they only want to have maybe one or two children, and it's for the simple sense of making sure that their money doesn't go to anybody else. It's not even because they really want to have kids. It's because they want to keep the money to themselves. Right? So Sirach, the author tells us, if you do, you will never get rich. So now us, everybody on here, right, who may be struggling or what have you, guess what? You have the ability to get rich. You have the ability to gain wealth that would benefit not only your family, but your entire nation. Right? Exactly, Chief Sister Melina. What a selfish reality. And that's what Sirach 14 was talking about. People who are selfish, and they're not only selfish to others, the reason why people are selfish to others is because they are first selfish to themselves. Right? So now the author of Sirach is letting us know how we can obtain wealth, right? It's by making sure we maintain self-control. Right? And typically, economically, right? If anybody studies what America calls economics, a lot of times people are the middle class for a reason, because they are the largest consumers. So therefore, the money they make ends up going to the upper class. Right? It goes to the upper class, and what how the term goes is basically typically the middle class, they're known to live outside of their means. They attempt to live above the money that comes in. That's also why a lot of our people are like, if you notice our neighborhoods, what is on every corner outside of a damn liquor store and a church? What's on every corner? A check cashing store, because the check cashing store gives us advances. The check cashing store will give us our check in advance, right? Or we can go cash it and get the money immediately for a small fee. So now we can go and spend that money even faster. Why is it that you think that a black and Hispanic dollar is the foundation of America? Right? So if we could just obtain the self-control it takes, we wouldn't be struggling. If we could obtain self-control, there would be no struggle. Is everybody following along with me? 1 yes, 2 no.
And then
Is everybody
and
following
then
along?
it's
Go
like
ahead.
you pray for discipline, right? But you're gonna be tested on that same thing you're being tempted on. So it could be lust, it could be money, just spending. Some people just don't even like the things they, when I used to work at UPS, one of the things I actually could see for myself, just like you're saying with that middle class, I'm looking at all these people, they buy stuff there that's not even needed. They just have a
Right.
spending habit, and and guess what? It's like just like you says, you're not gonna be rich or successful that way. You're just keep spending and spending and spending. Every little
And
thing you see on TV, you have to have it for no reason. You just had to have
exactly.
it. Right.
And
I'm sorry.
yeah, no, it's all good. Slocky, were you still going?
Oh no, I was gonna say something else too, because you
Go ahead.
just made me thought about something. Because you when you said Yahawanathan said it's impossible for a camel to for a needle eye, right? But
Mhm.
then the same thing is nothing is impossible through Christ. But why would he say it's impossible? It's
Oh,
not saying it's impossible. It's just saying it's impossible for them because they can't even discipline themselves to not even see that or acknowledge it.
all praises to the Most High. All right. So if they had the righteous qualities, it would be just as possible as anybody else, right?
Mhm.
Then Yahweh also warns us, right, in the curses, right, that we would our store baskets, they would be empty. Think about that, ladies and gentlemen. This is how we can know that we are under the curses, even in the little bit of success that we may have, because a lot of times all of our people say the same thing: our check comes in, our check goes out. Well, how does that happen? Because if you look at your bank statement, it tells you the money that you've accumulated throughout the year. And a lot of our people end up looking at that bank statement and saying, damn, where did all this money go? And then they add up the things and it's not making sense. It's the curses. Haggai 1:6 says you gather money to put into a bag with holes. So now that we're in the so now that we have the understanding, the knowledge to reverse the curse, we must worship our God in joyfulness and gladness. We must obtain these fruits of the Spirit because they will help you in every single aspect of your life. Building self respect is making a better person, building self respect is preparing you for the kingdom of God. Building self respect is going to then um, disseminate the generational power that we once had, right? 1 yes, 2 no is everybody following along with us. 1 yes, 2 no is everybody following along with us. Shout out to everybody that has indeed joined us so far. Please make sure that you hit the like button when you get in here and share the video. Make sure you share the video on Facebook, X, Instagram, YouTube, don't matter. Share the video, share the video, share the video, and hit that like button, please and thank you. Right?
It's not raining where you at.
No, it's a little cloudy, but it ain't raining.
My goodness, sound like a hurricane out here.
Sheesh. You walked to the school?
Well, no, I caught the bus and my friend gave me a ride here.
Oh, okay. All praises.
He stayed on the way, so.
Tribe of Iskar shares with us Ecclesiastes chapter 5, verse 10. He that loveth silver shall not be satisfied with silver. He that loves abundance with increase, this is also vanity, right? And that goes into being greedy, right? All praises to the Most High. So let's go ahead, continue from the top.
Come on. Ecclesiasticus chapter 19, verse 1 in the Good News Translation. If you do, you will never get rich. If you don't pay attention to small matters, it's funny we were saying that on the Torah portion.
Mm-hmm.
Pay attention to the small matters, you will gradually ruin yourself. Wine and women make sensible men do foolish things.
Ooh, look at that. Pay attention. The small things matter.
Yeah.
Right? If you don't pay attention to the small matters, you will gradually ruin yourself because, and this is what people say a lot, right? Oh, it's just a little, it won't hurt me. It's just a little, it won't hurt me. That's the point. It's not supposed to hurt you right then and there. That's the point. It's not supposed to hurt you right then and there. And that's how sly the devils are. right? Remember, I told y'all what Zaquan Dabara shared with us. That's how the devils are. They're sliding. Oh, it's okay. It's just a little bit.
Or it's
Oh,
one
it's
time.
okay. It's. I was just about to say it's only one time.
Just like Moses, when you said earlier, just that one time cost them something huge.
Right. That one time cost Moses the ability to enter into the land. Right. So even if it's your first time doing it, it's only a little bit. Do not do it. Because now what you're doing is gradually ruining yourself. And going back to the definition of self-respect, you are compromising your well-being for just a little bit of fake joy,
Pleasure.
fake
Yeah.
happiness.
It's funny because it's like my mom, right? She works with like she's not a daycare teacher, but she's a
Mhm.
professional with babies or toddlers, and basically teaching she's working with the babies, but those babies came from pregnant teenagers, 13, 14, 15 years old. Not even 16, 17, 13, 14, 15. That's who she's working for, right? Right across the
Mhm.
street is another school. But she always said like these kids get pregnant from just one time. One time of
Mhm.
having sex. One time costs you your whole life. Now you got to take care of a baby at 13, 14, 15 years old. But from one time of pleasure, right?
All right.
Not
And
thinking
that's
about the
all it takes.
consequences. One thing my mom always told me is like you gotta always think about the consequences because it's like I'm not thinking about rewards. I'm thinking about the consequence. I have to think about the consequences because that's gonna lead me away from getting hurt.
That's
Because
right.
I have a thing for I have to know what that pain feel like so I don't do it again. For some reason, that's how I learn things. Right? It's stupid though, but that's now I don't want to learn like that. Now I have to learn the opposite. It's like, you know what? I'd rather not get hurt anymore. Actually, there's a verse, Proverbs 20 and 30 says, it takes a painful change. It takes something painful for you to change your ways. So why do you want to be hurt just so you can be better? Right? You know.
Sheesh. That's an NLT.
I think it's NLT. Proverbs 20 and 30. I think it's NLT.
No, I think that's Job that you're thinking about.
Nah. Let me see.
Oh, maybe not.
Nah,
Yeah, find that verse. 'Cause I would definitely want to read it. But Proverbs 20 and 30 says physical punishment cleanses away evil.
yeah. So that's the NLT you read it on?
Yeah.
So it's probably like CEV or GNT. Maybe it's GNT.
I don't have the GNT on here. Hold on.
Yeah, it got to be because that's it's saying that but differently.
Sometimes it's yes. Proverbs chapter 20, verse 30 says in the Good News translation, sometimes it takes a painful experience to make us change our ways. Wow. Sheesh. All praise, honor, glory to the Most High.
But sometimes that's what it takes, that painful experience, just so you can be better, right? I mean, here where I am just from all the painful experiences. But you know what? Sometimes it don't have to be that way.
You see, and again, it's just a little bit. A little bit can well even Paul says a little leaven, leavens the whole lump. Well,
Yeah.
these proverbs, they go through and through. There's so many different proverbs in different ways to look at this. Um, and it also still always goes back to self-respect. So this is what the author of Sirach is sharing with us right here.
Yeah.
Again, pay attention to the small matters because gradually you'll ruin yourself and basically will keep yourself out of the kingdom of heaven. Self-respect, the definition puts it as compromising your well-being. So these are all the same. They all go hand in hand, and we have to make sure that we're always paying attention to the little things. I was just talking with my wife yesterday, I want to say it was yesterday, and I was telling her how little decisions I'm noticing that we're making in communicating with each other, and how it is either making the day better, or if we would have went the other route, how it would have made the day worse. So these things are important to pay attention to, and eventually, when we get past the fruits of the spirit and the building self-respect classes, we're going to look at these different relationship models and these different aspects um of our lives, and how we can apply these things even in the smallest places, right? In the confines of our own mind, in the confines of the small actions we have, in the confines of how we are walking and things like that, is very important, right? Real quick, Zaquan Dabara says, Lord, teach me yesterday where to walk tomorrow. God, all praise to the Most High.
You know, because that's literally kind of like what brought me to the truth. Because I was asking the Most High the same thing, and I was like, "What am I doing wrong? I want to better myself tomorrow, but I had to look at today and yesterday. Yesterday is what's helping me today, and today will make tomorrow better,
That's
right?
right.
So it's like every day is a learning thing, and then within that, I'm gonna be tested. I'm gonna be is either gonna be a big thing or a small thing. It could be my children just making me lose patience. And I'm like, I'll be like saying you driving me crazy, but then I'll think about it. I was like, you're not driving me crazy. I'm driving myself crazy because I'm lacking patience right now. Right. So that would be just a small little thing, but it's really big, you know, but it goes a long way. That's that's exactly what's gonna help us endure to the end.
That's right.
The big and the small, because sometimes you can work out your whole upper body, but not even work out your legs, right? Or even your fingers.
And now you can't stand, nigga.
Yeah.
Right?
So it's like it's so imbalanced. So we have to work out every single thing, you know, your left brain,
And
your right brain.
you know, let's take this statement just a bit further, because we do have to move on, but this is a big learning focus right now for all of us, and I want to really make sure that we drive it home. It says if you don't pay attention to small matters, you will gradually ruin yourself. Well, let's flip that into a positive statement. If you do pay attention to small matters, you will gradually improve yourself. Right? That's why any life
Affirmation.
coach, exactly, any life coach or any dang mentor or psychologist, they're going to tell you take milestones. Everything is in milestones.
Yeah.
What's another saying? Rome wasn't built in a day, right? So that lets us know it was done over time. And if you look at the history of Rome, man, let me tell you, the way that the empire of Rome was built from the Republic of Rome is a big difference, and they did it by small matters, right? So it's important to understand that. All praise, honor, glory to Yahawanathan. Shout out to Kwame Israel, Yahawanathan Ban Walter Water for your generous, continuous, and love and support, keeping that $50 drive alive. Praise the Lord.
You know what I'm seeing with that too? Like paying attention to small matters mean being patient, because sometimes rushing through life, you're not paying attention to small matters.
That's right.
You're just going day by day. Just now you're on what, like stress hormones. You're not even thinking like logically anymore, which is another thing. Like when people think like be sober minded, that's how you be sober minded. Like you have total clarity. You're not angry, you're focused, you're not distracted, because that's what happened to Moses at the end of the day. He wasn't sober minded at that moment. He probably had too much things going on in his mind, which caused him to distract it, now caused him to lose patience and get angry, right? So those little things can basically affect your whole day, right?
All praise, exactly. Damn. And like I said, there's so many ways to think about it. Just like what you said, Captain Kadash over at the Classic, he was talking about how brothers, it'll take 10 seconds to have a life sentence in jail, right? So this, again, not to overwhelm it or to water it down. We got this right here, Sirach chapter 19 and verse 1 in the Good News Translation. This is a big meditating scripture right here. So for those of you, again, taking notes, I would write down Sirach chapter 19 verse 1, put some asterisks, highlight it. If you have your apocrypha, you have your Bible out, highlight it, put some asterisks, underline it, circle it, you know, and let it be something that you muse on and meditate on, and for it to be in your mind to focus on the small things, because that is how you got where you are. A lot of times we ask ourselves, well, how did we get here? It started out small, guys. It started out small, and it gradually ruined us, or it gradually improved us, you know, whichever we're talking about. So all praise, honor, and glory to the Most High. 1 yes, 2 no. Is everybody still walking with us? Everybody still actively and effectively listening? Drop those 9s. 1 yes, 2 no. Are you walking with us? And drop those 9s if you're still actively and effectively listening. All right. Again, make sure you guys are hitting that like button and sharing the video and hitting that like button. If you're watching this on the replay, drop a comment. Let us know how you liking it so far. All right, let's start again from verse 1.
Ecclesiasticus chapter 19, verse 1 in the Good News Translation. If you do, you will never get rich. If you don't pay attention to small matters, you will gradually ruin yourself. Wine and women make sensible men do foolish things. A man who goes to prostitutes get more and more careless,
Mm-hmm.
and that carelessness will cost him his life.
And that what?
Carelessness will cost him his life.
And that carelessness will cost him his life. It can nowadays, depending on where you are, how it's going on, etc. You can either end up in jail for the rest of your life, you can be murdered, you can be robbed. A lot of different things can occur by putting yourself in these predicaments. And you know, I forgot to mention this when we were reading Psalms chapter 27. But I said it when we were at camp and we were reading Psalms chapter 27. So all of you who remember when we ran over Psalms chapter 27, you know how it says, when a host encamps around us, right, we will maintain the confidence in the fact that Yahweh is our salvation, he is our light, and he is the strength of our life. Does everybody remember that one yes, two no when we went over Psalms 27, right? We have to know this. This is another thing to keep in mind, right? Is that when you put yourself somewhere, and then you try to look to God and say, God, how did I end up here? Why are you not with me? And you start getting mad at God. Well, guess what? He can respond and say, well, I gave you life or death and you kept choosing death. And that's why you're here now. Don't look to me. I didn't do anything. Right? A lot of times we ask that question and say, how did we get here? And then that's when we start calling on God. God, how did we get here? And he's looking at you like, wait, what? You chose death. That's how you're here. It's
you
very
you
simple.
you walked there on your own, you know.
You walk there on your own,
Yeah.
right?
So some people
Um,
ran there on their own, so that's why.
Zaquan Dabra says the greatest building started with one brick, whether it be of good or defective material, right? So when you ask that question, how did you get here? You better be willing to think back and say, damn, I did do that. Oh, snap, I totally did not do that. Oh man, I did not do anything that he told me to do. Oh, that's why I'm here. And then you can start to say, you know what? Yahweh Salakia, I know how I'm here. And I know I got here and this is my punishment. I'm asking, can you take it easy or can you help me out? Right? That's when you can go to the most high, is when you acknowledge your offense. So instead of asking how you got here, you better think back, because let me tell you, the answer is right there in your actions.
Because that's what David did. If anything, that's all them books he did. He was crying out to the Most High, acknowledging his, he did.
Khan.
Crying out, saying, yeah, I did wrong. A lot of us are not taking accountability.
Accountability.
We think we are, but
Accountability.
we're asking the wrong questions too. So it's like just as like, how did we get here? Like, how did I put myself in this position? Then I have to
Imagine
think of,
that.
yeah. So it's like if I thought about certain things, all right, I think as Ahmataza always say that too. It's like I'm not asking, how did I get here? I'm asking the Most High, like what did I do to put myself in this position? That's probably now you're asking a question to the Most High that's you're acknowledging you did do something, but now you're trying to
Mhm.
figure out what did you do to get there, right? Because I'm pretty
Exactly.
sure the Most High didn't put you anywhere for no reason.
Exactly. Yeah, and guess what? You earned everything,
Yeah.
right? Imagine that. Christians believe you can earn judgment, but don't believe you can earn salvation. Ha! Imagine that. But anyways, let's read again from the top Bible show.
So Ecclesiasticus chapter 19, verse 1, in a Good News translation. If you do, you will never get rich. If you
Mhm.
don't pay attention to small matters, you will gradually ruin yourself. Wine and women make sensible men do foolish things. A man who goes to prostitutes gets more and more careless, and that carelessness will cost him his life. Worms will feed on his decaying body.
Ooh, worms will feed on his decaying body, but yet he's alive. He's doing recklessness, and that's how they're feeding on his decaying body, going back to the very top, small matters. And he's gradually ruining himself. And another thing that I'm paying attention to is here, it says wine and women make sensible men. So these are men with wisdom. These are men that are prudent. but they're doing foolish things. This lets you know some major factors in a man's life are wine and women, drinking alcohol and indulging in sexual pleasure, right? These are the typical things that would ruin a man. Again, this is from the author's perspective. Every man has a different trial, but the point is you can be wise and still do foolish things. Moses, very
Sam,
wise, very meek, but he did something foolish, right?
remember Samson? He loved women.
Yeah, shout out to that guy.
Again, guess what? You know.
And now the worms are in his body,
Yeah.
right? Verse 4.
Verse 4. It is silly to trust people too quickly. If you sin, you are hurting yourself. If wickedness makes
Wait,
you
hold
happy.
on. Read it again, verse 4.
Verse 4. It is silly to trust people too quickly.
It is silly to trust people too quickly. It is silly, right? To what's another way that Sirach phrases it? It's don't be too hasty to something people. Let me take this off. It's don't be too hasty to I can't think of it right now, but it is silly to trust people too quickly. So now this is wisdom on how to deal with partnerships, relationships, etc. You want to give everybody the opportunity to show themselves and show their
Prove,
true colors.
like, they like to prove themselves,
Yeah,
friend.
there you go. Don't be too hasty to to prove a friend, right? Salakia. Go ahead.
Yeah, yeah.
To
I'm like,
credit people. There you go. Don't be too hasty to credit people. That's what I was looking for. Shout out to Trap Afghanistan. Right? Praise and shout out to Chief Sister Allah Aisha. Right? Go ahead.
it says, verse 4. It is silly to trust people too quickly. If you sin, you are hurting yourself.
You are who?
You are hurting yourself.
You're only hurting yourself when you sin. You're not hurting anybody else. It's your salvation at stake. That's why I said it before, man. Right? You do something wrong, you believe in the wrong thing, you teach a false gospel, you're only hurting your salvation. Now, watch this. If you're a leader and you're teaching a false gospel, you're endangering those who follow you because now they're trusting what you say to be true, which also goes into Israel, you sheep out there. It's important that you study yourself. There's one thing that we have continuously been telling you guys here, right? Most recently, go get your pencil, go get your notebook, and go get your Bible. Read it with us. Don't hear us read it.
Yeah,
Read it
yeah.
with us.
You can hear Ahmataza read it though.
Right? Because let me tell you something, man. Some things, they sound so good.
Yeah.
And sometimes those are the best lies. Right?
That's your itching ear, like wanting to. You want something. You're looking for something, but sometimes that's our problem. We're always looking for something that's
Always looking for something.
Exactly. Like, look, you know what? It's funny because every time I like Solomon, he was looking for everything, and guess what he
That's
got?
what Ecclesiastes does say. That nigga was on the prowl, boy. Let me tell you, right?
Yeah, he was looking for everything, but guess what? End up talking about nothing. So
Vanity and vexation.
yeah. So
Go ahead.
verse
Verse 4
6.
again. No, verse 4 again from the top.
Oh, verse 4.
Mm-hmm.
Verse 4. It is silly to trust people too quickly. If you sin, you are hurting yourself.
Mm-hmm.
If wickedness makes you happy, you will be condemned.
Ooh. If wickedness makes you happy. Now, a lot of us would say, oh no, I frown at sin. I do this at sin, this, that, and the third, but pay attention. Right? Pay attention. The small matters is will gradually ruin you. So if you find yourself saying, oh, it's just one time or it's a little bit, and you know it's not something that should be necessarily done, but it's not technically in the law, right?
But what if it is?
You
People
see?
still would do it because it's like even the Sabbath. I'm just working one time on the Sabbath. and then it comes 2 times and 3 times. The next, you're
Right.
buying and eating. I just heard a girl said that, so it's that little stuff became something huge. It was like a faith of a mustard seed. It works the same way with
And it
sin.
grows into a big tree. Yes,
Yeah,
fact.
that's sin, because it's like I could tell you though, even for me, like as a child, I probably was telling little white lies, and then came now I'm telling huge lies, right?
Mm,
Where it came from something small though. I kept feeding it. I kept feeding my flesh, because that made me happy. Stealing, same thing. That made me happy, but just don't know you're hurting yourself.
that's right. And if and you eventually will be condemned. Right?
Exactly.
Doesn't matter how much you attempt to hide it, how much this, that, and the third. Guess what? You will be condemned. Um, verse 6 now.
Verse 6. Avoid idle talk. And then avoid people people who does idle talking too. So yeah, for real. Like I hear a lot of that. So because that spirit can hop on you without you even
Mm.
knowing it. Not me, but girls specifically, I've seen it a lot. They don't even see it. But avoid idle talk, and you will avoid a lot of trouble.
And you will what?
Avoid a lot of trouble.
And you will avoid a lot of trouble, man. Right? Like, especially with what's been going on, man, lately. Whenever anybody's trying to talk about this one and talk about this one and etc.,
Stay away.
I shut it down because it's like, even if your intention is not to be a gossiper or anything like that, you don't know the intention of the other person or the spirit that the other person is dealing with. So
Yeah.
your intention is to simply share something or talk about a current event, whereas that other person's intention could be different, and it will and it will turn into idle talk. It'll turn into gossip from what you were not paying attention to, the small matter. So when anybody is ever trying to talk about the unnecessary shit, I shut it down, because listen, we don't have to talk about individuals. We can
Yeah.
talk about what's happening, but we don't have to talk about the individual. You understand? Um,
Because
and
now
notice,
it's like,
um, no, go ahead. I can keep my point. You go ahead.
no, I was gonna say, because subconsciously you're now enabling and now you're partaking in that sin, because you're just now part of it without you even realizing it too. So
Calm, right? And we notice, remember, Yahawanathan tells us what? We have to be able to start putting these scriptures together, guys. So
yeah,
this is Sirach chapter 18, verse 6. Avoid idle talk. What Yahawanathan say? Every idle word, right, will
yeah,
be brought into judgment. So
con,
now we see the importance. Sirach already had this down,
mm-hmm,
and Yahawashi furthered it by telling us what he said, that every idle word will be taken into judgment, man. Right? Go ahead.
con. Verse 6. Avoid idle talk, and
Mm-hmm.
you will avoid a lot of trouble. Never repeat what you hear, and you will have no regrets.
You know what mommy always tell us? I didn't give you no message, right? What that means is I didn't tell you to go tell nobody, right? We have to have the ability to trust individuals, right? If what I'm telling you has nothing to do with sinning or anything, or it's not God, etc., listen, man, don't repeat what you hear. And then guess what? You'll have no regrets, right? Go ahead.
Verse 8. Don't tell it to your friends or your enemies unless it will be sinful to keep it to yourself.
You see that? Unless it would be sinful to keep it to yourself. That's the only time that you go and share it, or you go and you seek counsel about it or something. Don't tell it to your friends or your enemies unless it would be a sin to keep it to yourself. This is how you avoid idle talk. So the author tells us first, avoid idle talk, and then he tells us how to avoid idle talk. So if you're taking notes, verse 6 gives a demand, it gives a decree. Avoid idle talk. Verse 7 and verse 8 say how to avoid idle talk. Keep going.
Verse 9. Whoever hears you will take note of it,
So now someone will hear what you say, read,
and sooner or later will hate you for it.
and sooner or later, you'll be the enemy. You'll be the one in the wrong. That's how a lot of relationships end up. Well, what did I do wrong? this, that, and the third. And then they'll be like, well, didn't you say XYZ? And then you're thinking like, wait a minute, but I didn't say that to you. And I didn't even mean it like that. And now it's a big problem. Right? That's why it's best to keep your mouth shut. Right? There's a proverb somewhere in the book of Proverbs, right? It says, even a fool seems wise when he keeps his mouth closed, roughly paraphrasing. Right? Verse 10.
Verse 10. Have you heard a rumor? Let it die with you.
Let it what?
Die with you.
Let it die with you. See, a lot of people think you're supposed to go tell them, oh, I heard this about you. Nah. If somebody talking crazy about somebody else, listen, man, that's that person problem. That's why, again, I'd be like, yo, listen, I don't want to hear nothing about, oh, I heard so-and-so did that. You heard that? That's fantastic. Keep that shit to yourself. Don't bring it to me. I don't want to know nothing about it. Oh, you heard so-and-so? That's fine. I don't care. If you ain't got proof, keep it to yourself. Right? Verse 10 again.
And even if you do have proof, sometimes it's nobody's else business too. So it's like you're just spreading more people's business. So,
and if it was that serious to you, you'd bring it up on trial and charges. You wouldn't be trying to just talk about it.
Yeah.
And you damn sure wouldn't bring it to the internet.
Exactly. Because it's like a lot of times we're not going to say something did happen, right? I didn't go to the officer or anybody else. I brought it to Facebook, right? So it don't work that way. But so like verse 10.
Mm-hmm.
Have you heard a rumor? Let it die with you. Be brave. It won't make you explode.
It
won't make you explode.
Go ahead.
That's a foolish person trying to keep a secret suffers like a woman in labor.
Wow, look at that. So if you're someone who just got to tell somebody else something, what is that lacking? Self-control. And it's like especially if you're a dude that's crazy. Yeah. Right? Women, this is typically stuff that women suffer from. But there's a lot of niggas today, a lot of brothers today, a lot of men today that suffer from the inability to keep their damn mouths shut. And look at what the author is explaining and describing you as a woman with babies. A woman. Right? And it says a foolish person trying to keep a secret suffers like a woman in labor. Right?
A woman who's hormonal.
Exactly. A woman who can't control themselves. That's what you're like.
It's not like she's just a regular woman. It's a woman, with full of emotions, full of everything right now. That's crazy.
Go ahead.
Verse 12. Anytime he hears a secret, it's like an arrow stuck in his leg.
He's got to get it out. It hurts.
I've never heard that before. I'm going to start saying that.
All right, go ahead.
Verse 13. If you hear that a friend has done something wrong, ask him about it. Maybe it isn't true. If it is true, he won't do it again.
Mm-hmm.
If you hear that a neighbor has said something he shouldn't, ask him about it.
Do what?
Ask him about it.
So now watch this, ladies and gentlemen. This is a good expounding of Exodus 18. No, excuse me. Hold on. Let me backtrack. Sirach chapter 19, verse 13 and verse 14 is good and similar to Matthew chapter 18 and also Leviticus chapter 5. I'm going to say it again. Sirach chapter 19, verses 13 through 14 is similar and a good way to expound upon Matthew chapter 18 and Leviticus chapter 5, because Matthew chapter 18 tells us what to do when we have an ought or there's an offense between two brothers. Leviticus 5 says if you hear someone sin, that you have to utter it. This would be the step in doing so still. If you hear that a friend has done something wrong, ask him about it. Go and get the details. Right?
Get it from the horse's mouth.
Get it from the horse's mouth. And now also, so someone comes and says, oh, so-and-so, right? You're not supposed to just take that person at face value. Doesn't matter how trustworthy they are.
You know what that means? That means you wanted to believe that lie instead.
Exactly.
You didn't want to believe the truth. You
You
wanted to believe
wanted that to be true.
Yeah.
Right. And so now you got to go to the other person and ask him about it. See what his side is. Right. Again, maybe it says maybe it isn't true. If it is true, he won't do it again. Right.
It could have been that person's perception, and they thought it was actually true, and they probably was even lying themselves, but you believed it because you went and spread the rumor.
Right. And even so, make sure that you are paying attention and doing your due diligence, because anybody is susceptible to lying.
Mhm.
Right. So make sure that, okay, cool, you said this, and guess what? You know what Sirach also teaches you? To stay out of things that really have nothing to do with you.
Yeah.
All right. If the person asks for your feedback or your perspective, share it with them. If they don't ask you for your perspective and your feedback, but yet you know there's something burning in your spirit to share, be like, hey, look, man, if you don't mind, I just want to share something with you. And if they don't want to hear it, hey, look, they don't want to hear it. But if they give you the opportunity to speak, you go ahead, speak your piece, and you keep it moving. This right here needs to be practiced in the Israelite community, right? Between elders, between leaders, between brothers, and between sisters. But you know what we've been doing lately? We've been treating Facebook and Instagram and TikTok and whatever other social media platform is out there, we've been treating those things as, oh, well, I did say something about it. No, you didn't. You made a damn post. Right? Read it again from verse 13.
Ecclesiasticus chapter 19, verse 13 in the Good News Translation. If you hear that a friend has done something wrong, ask him about it. Maybe it isn't true. If it is true, he won't do it again. If you hear that a neighbor has said something he shouldn't, ask him about it. Maybe he
I
didn't
love
say
you.
it. If he did, he won't say it again.
Mm-hmm.
If you hear something bad about a friend, ask him about it.
Do what?
Ask him about it.
Ask him about it. Why?
It might be a lie.
It might what?
It might be a lie.
It might be a lie. Read.
Don't believe everything you hear.
Don't believe everything you hear. You know what Proverbs tells us? A fool believeth everything. Right? Go ahead.
A person may say something carelessly and not really mean it.
And not really mean it. Go ahead.
Everyone has sinned in this way at one time or another.
This is letting you know that this is something that people have done throughout time. Right? And that's why Paul speaks to it in Ephesians, the 5th chapter. He says, be angry and sin not. A lot of us tend, and notice we actually just learned about this in Numbers 20. Moses was angry and the man sinned. Moses was frustrated and the man sinned. We're reading here in Sirach now. A person may say something carelessly and not really mean it. Did Moses really want to disobey God? No. Right? But everyone has sinned in this way at one time or another. This is something that happens. So these are things that we have to take conscience of as starting and pursuing to the beginning of this chapter. Small matters will gradually ruin you, or guess what? If you conquer the small things, it will gradually improve you.
It's good that you said consciously because that's what it says. Like you're one way or another means you did it subconsciously or consciously. So like there's times you did it without you even realizing it. There's times you did it when you realized it. So, he did it without realizing it. But at the end of the day, he should know better. So that's the thing we got to work on or think about or be mindful. Mindfulness is what we should be practicing. Mindfulness on every single thing, the laws, statutes, commandments, and the fruits of the spirits.
Verse 17.
So verse 17. If you hear something that makes you angry with your neighbor, ask him about it before you threaten him. Leave the matter to the law of the Most High.
Do what?
Leave the matter to the law of the Most High.
That's all you got to do.
Cast your burden.
Let the Most High God's Torah, his instruction, be the focus, right? Because remember, except Yahweh will build the house, they labor in vain that build it. Except Yahweh will keep the city, the watchman waketh, but in vain. We got to let his law, his statute, his commandment, his judgment be our focus and measuring stick, right? You okay? Okay, good. Continuing, you see how verse 18 and 19 are not here? Verse 18 and 19 are not here. So real quick, let me scroll down to verse 18 and 19. It says some manuscripts add verses 17c and through 19. Don't be angry. So verse 18 and 19 right here say, if you don't mind, read these verse 18 and 19.
Go on. Verse 18. Fearing the Lord is the first step toward his accepting you. He will love you if you are wise.
Mm-hmm.
Learn the Lord's commands. It is a discipline that gives life. Those who do what pleases him enjoy the fruits of the tree of the immortality.
Right. So this is important to understanding, right? I don't know why they would take these verses out. Although it says some manuscripts add them. These are definitely still important, right? And definitely biblically sound. Fearing the Lord is the first step toward his accepting you, because that is also the first step in wisdom. That is the first step in faith. That is the first step in discipline. Anything, the first step in the right direction is fearing the Lord. It says he will love you if you are wise. Verse 19, the Lord's commands, it is a discipline that gives life. That's very true, because if you keep the commandments, you would inherit life. If you break the commandments, you'll inherit death. Those who do what pleases him enjoy the fruit of the tree of immortality. Does that mean that you'll never die? Physically, your body will never decay? No, it means the fact that you'll live in prosperity, right? And you will live in prosperity all the days of your life, so long as you remain obedient and faithful to the Most High God. All right, let's go back up to verse 20. 1 yes, 2 no. Are you still walking with us, everybody? 1 yes, 2 no. Are you still walking with us, everybody? Shout out to everybody who has joined us, left us, stayed with us. Make sure you guys have hit that like button and you have shared the video. Make sure you have shared the video and you have hit that like button. All right. I know this is a members only chat. If you would like to chat with us, the link is at the top. You can join. Very reasonable price. We do a lot of free classes. We just like our Sabbath classes and our Holy Convocation classes to be distraction free. All right. And we know the scoffers, they're not going to, you know what I'm saying, pay to scoff, right? All praise, honor, and glory to the Most High. Make sure you, again, liking the video, sharing the video. All praises, all praises. We're going to double up. We're going to have a coffee hours class in the next couple hours after this. All right. And also make sure that you are joining the Discord. All right. That is indeed also free. Make sure you are tapped in with the Discord. Listen, I'm all right. Nigga, I be falling asleep too. Right? Verse 20.
Verse 20. Fear the Lord and keep his law. That is what wisdom is all about.
Mm-hmm.
You may know everything that there is to know about wickedness.
Go ahead.
But that does not make you wise.
Uh-huh.
It is sensible to follow the
No,
advice.
it is not sensible.
It is not sensible to follow the advice of sinners. It is possible to use cleverness for wicked purposes. But some people act like fools because they don't know any better.
Mm-hmm.
A devout person, even if he is not very intelligent, is better than the cleverest of sinners.
Right. So now pay attention. So we see, right, first of all, it says it's not sensible to follow the advice of sinners. Psalm, the first chapter, also teaches us, right, to not sit in the counsel of the ungodly. It is possible to use cleverness for wicked purposes. So now sometimes people become so wise that they see how to exploit people, and that's what they would prefer to do. But some people act like fools because they don't know any better. So you have two sides of the same coin. Verse 24 is the heavy hitter. Verse 24 is the heavy hitter. A devout person, even if he is not very intelligent, so you may not know the breakdowns, you may not have it all together, but you're devout, you're faithful, you're contrite, you're disciplined, you have goodness, you're gentle, you're loving, you're meek, right? But you're not very intelligent. You may not have everything together, right? But you have these qualities, you're devout, is better off than the cleverest of sinners.
Because
So
that's
you're
that's the epitome of brotherhood over breakdown.
exactly
That's
right.
what's really needed. Because sometimes you're too wise and not even, or you're too smart and not you're really dumb.
Right. So we have to know that even someone who may not have it all together is actually better off than someone who understands everything, right? And if you notice here, verse 21 is also missing. So real quick before we continue, let's go down to verse 21 right here.
Oh, if a servant refuses to obey his master, but later does obey, the master is still angry.
Right. So they say that, right? They say that this is added. If a servant refuses to obey his master, but later does obey, his master is still angry. Mostly because I would say probably because he should have obeyed the first go around. That's why Yahweh tells us that he prefers obedience over sacrifice. He would rather you obey the first time than have to bring him a sacrifice, right? Verse 25.
Verse 25. You can move that marker.
Oh yes, Salakia.
Verse 25. It is possible to be marvelously clever and still be dishonest, or to get what you want by being absurdly polite.
It is possible to be marvelously clever and still be dishonest. Why? Because now you're manipulative,
Yeah, I was gonna say that.
or to
Manipulative
get
tactics.
or to get what you want by being absurdly polite. This is manipulative. So now the author of Sirach is letting us know that someone who is absurdly polite for the purpose of getting stuff out of people, that is manipulative and it is wrong. Right? Very, very wrong. Right? Shout out to Sister Romanica Wade joining the newest membership. Yahweh Shemi Shabrakatawa, the water for your generous, continuous, and loving support, becoming our newest bronze trap star. Bam. Praise the Lord. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead.
Verse 26. Then there are those wicked people who go about looking very solemn and mournful, but who are only trying to deceive you. They will turn their faces away and pretend not to hear you, but they'll take advantage of you when you least expect it.
So now then there are those wicked people who go about looking very, very solemn. So now they're doing what? Performing themselves, or excuse me, disguising themselves as a sheep, right? Yahawashi told us about this, Matthew 7, wolves disguising themselves as sheep, right? We're seeing it being described here in Sirach chapter 19. Read from verse 26 again, please.
Then there are those wicked people who go about looking very solemn and mournful, but who are only trying to deceive you. They will turn their faces away and pretend not to hear you, but they will take advantage of you when you least expect it. If for some reason they are unable to sin now,
if for some reason they're unable to sin now, read.
They'll get around to it at the first opportunity.
The first opportunity they get, they'll make sure they commit that sin. And this is how we can pay attention to the fruits that people bear.
And you know it's crazy? So that you are patient enough to sin.
Imagine that.
Like there's people who like was waiting patiently just so they can probably rob you. But that they were showing you certain fruits of the spirits just to get to you. So man, that's crazy.
And it's not always monetarily rob you. It can be a lot of different things that they're looking to exploit you for.
Yeah, like a lot like there's men that will do that with girls. Or girls do that to guys, just to get what they want.
And it's a never-ending cycle of sin and death.
Yeah.
Right? Verse 29.
Verse 29. You can know people by their appearance. The first time you look at them, you can tell if they have good sense. Their character shows in the way they dress, the way they laugh, and the way they walk.
Right. So Sirach, the author, lets you know that if you just simply pay attention to the outer appearance of someone, and now this may sound as if it contradicts what Yahawashi says. Yahawashi tells us in John 7:35 to not judge by the outer appearance, right, but judge righteous judgment. Of course, the old saying also goes, "Judge a cover, don't judge a book by its cover." And now we have the author of Sirach saying their character shows in the way they dress, the way they laugh, and the way they walk. These are all outer appearances, right? Pay attention to see how these things all coincide. So when Yahawashi says, judge not on the appearance, right? Giving people the ability to show you, right? If you pay attention to the way someone dresses, that's going to determine their self-care and their self-worth. If someone doesn't care about how they look and the way they present themselves, why would they care about the way you look and how you present yourself, right? So now it says in the way they laugh. Some people, they laugh absurdly, or sometimes the reason they're laughing can tell you the type of person they are, right? What type of jokes they find funny. And then it says in the way they walk. The demeanor of someone's walk can show you, believe it or not, if they're someone who is manipulative. Psychology and sociology teach you all about the behavior of human beings, and these aspects are built into them.
Like
So,
dark psychology.
huh?
Like dark psychology teaches you that a lot. Like it shows you like the how people can manipulate you, like the way they touch you, like word suggestions, stuff like that. Yeah, because
Yeah.
pimps do it a lot. That's how pimps. Yeah, so you that's a manipulation tactic that people use, or salespeople do it too.
Con, right? So we have to make sure that we're paying attention to what's known as body language,
Yeah,
right? That's really what the author of Sirach is emphasizing here, and it still coincides with Yahawashi even when he says, "Judge not according to the appearance, but judge righteous judgment." In order to judge righteous judgment, you have to be observant of what the person is doing, and that's what Sirach is emphasizing here, dealing with body language and the things that the person does not say, but rather how they act and how they behave, right? So 1 yes, 2 no. Does everybody receive that before we close out? 1 yes, 2 no. Can you receive the Torah portion and the wisdom portion that was taught here today by Hashem Yahawashi? 1 yes, 2 no.
okay.
And real quick, shout out to our beloved sister Ramonica Wade, Yahweh Bashim Yahawashi Bagatha, Walter Water, for your generous, continuous, and loving support. Exactly, Sister Ramonica Wade, countenance. Ah, shout out to the Masada in the building, chief apostle of the Masada. You know what I'm saying? Oh, praise, honor, and glory to you. How about you,
When he
guys?
said two of y'all, he's talking about you and Ahmataza.
No, because remember I said 1 yes, 2 no. So he's saying no, y'all wicked. He's saying that we're wicked, and that he doesn't,
Oh,
and that he doesn't believe what was said. Khan. But all praises, all honor, all glory to you, how about Shemi Awashai. We
Shalom.
definitely appreciate each and every one of you for tapping in and joining with us. All praises, honor, and glory to the Most High. Definitely appreciate each and every one of you tapping in and joining with us. Make sure you guys hit that like button and you share the video. Share the video, hit the like button. All right. Make sure that you join us on Discord, man. Every Sabbath at 1:30 p.m. Eastern time. Every Sabbath at 1:30 p.m. Eastern time, we do pray together collectively. So make sure you are joining us on the Discord. All praise, honor, and glory to the Most High. Also, if you would like to receive free prayer books, if you need to request a religious exemption letter, if you would like to find out how to join the ministries, and if you would like to join us for Passover down here in South Florida, March 31st, contact us via email using admin at servyhwh.info. That is ADMIN at servyhwh.info. All right, for anything and everything. Of course, make sure you guys are still praying for our people, praying for our land, praying for our land, and praying for our people. We are always praying for physical, mental, spiritual, emotional, agricultural, and financial health with stability. And of course, we are always doing so by Shema Mashiach Yahawashi. All right. We hope everybody enjoys the rest of their Sabbath. Make sure you tap in with us again. Coffee hours in a couple of hours, Lord willing. All right. Until next time, say Shabbat Shalom, Ahavatham. May Yahweh bless thee and keep thee. Yahweh make his face shine upon thee and be gracious unto thee. Yahweh lift up his countenance upon thee and give thee peace.
Shabbat shalom. Abatam.
thank you for watching. Like, share, and subscribe now. All praises to the Most High.